Hey folks, this is BestInSlot and welcome to our mod spotlight for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Not mods of the week this time, we couldn't do anything last week because of the brand new Park Managers Collection Pack, but this new mod works post DLC, works with that new update, and is so incredibly cool. It really needed its own individual spotlight. This is the Ancient Amphibians bundle by Luca, and I'll of course link it down below. This is going to add 4 amphibious species to your game and 14 decorations themed around Paleozoic amphibians and swamps and such, including, as you can see, this really very cool sign, "This way to Paleozoic swamp." It feels, you know, it's got the Jurassic Park text in there, it's got the inlaid colours, even if it's got like a swampy kind of colour scheme instead. It feels very Jurassic appropriate. If Jurassic Park was going to have a Paleozoic swamp, this is what it would have looked like. So we're going to go check it out. I'm going to show you at the end of the video how it's built, you know, how you put the pieces together and how it all functions. But until then, let's just do a tour and check out our new species. So before we actually get inside, we've also got a new statue. This is one of the new decorations, kind of advertising one of the species. So you can get right up close. That is your Anthracosaurus, and that's the first species we're going to look at. So into the Paleozoic swamp. I just, it makes me happy, this. It really does. It's very cool. This is really the kind of thing I want to see in Jurassic World Evolution 3. I don't see any reason we can't expand to have this kind of building, expand the roster in this direction. I just think it would be awesome, really. Over here, you can see the little warning sign, you know, don't poke or bind the glass. No matter how sexy the glass looks, there will be no banging off the glass. And as you can see, we've got this sort of interior swamp habitat sort of thing. Now, ignore the pathwork. That's my fault, and I promise the others are better. But in this habitat here, we have Anthracosaurus, which, and you also get these little info signs. You can put these up yourself, choose where to put them. Lots of information about Anthracosaurus in there. It is a late Carboniferous eel-like predator, and this was a large apex predator at the time. It's what's known as an embolomere. Now, embolomeres are a very successful type of stem tetrapod that dominated the late Carboniferous. They're semi-aquatic with eel-like bodies, which allowed them to swim through the waters in an undulatory sort of fashion, you know, that kind of wiggly, side-to-side, like me on the dance floor, side-to-side wiggle sort of movement. And as you can see, they've kind of got the flute tails and stuff like that. Those trees in there, by the way, these are part of the mod pack as well. And also the sort of algae there sitting on the top of the water is also part of the mod pack. We'll come back in a second and take a deeper look in there, but I want to keep the tour going. So, like I said, I'll show you how this is all put together later. But doesn't it look awesome? It looks like something out of Building Planet Zoo or Prehistoric Kingdom or something, which for evolution, I think is a fantastic thing. Anyways, hop outside briefly and then on to our next habitat. This is the habitat of the Diplocaulus. So again, we've got an info board, Diplocaulus magnicornis there. As you can see, I've also changed up. So this one has these kind of wooden corner walls and then these lovely swamp mural designs on the longer pieces. On this one, I've used the art pieces for the corners instead, just to give it a slightly different aesthetic inside. This is all very customizable. And there is our Diplocaulus, a famous creature, the Diplocaulus, maybe the best known of its group. A late Carboniferous to late Permian amphibian from North America and Africa. The largest and best known of the Lepospondylus, which are a group of early tetrapods that were all but extinct by the end of the Permian, except for Diplocaulus, or at least the African iteration of Diplocaulus, which survived much longer than all of the others. And there it is, very well known, I think in part because of Jurassic World the game. Diplocaulus and another of the creatures we've seen were in Jurassic World the game, and I think introduced this creature to a lot of people, but is very well known regardless. Very successful creature. That iconic wing-tip sort of shaped head, you know, like boomerang shaped head, I think is the better definition. And like I said, we'll come check this out in a second, but I've used much more of the algae in this design and more of the trees. So these were both interior, so the building is sort of in two parts. So you could, if you wanted, do an exterior building instead. So let's head outside and check out some of our exhibits over here. I've put the walls on this one. So this is the Ichthyostega. This is our other Jurassic World the game creature. And it might be a little tough to see because I've used sort of the more natural grass in this one. Ichthyostega from Greenland, though. Not somewhere that comes up very often. Maybe the first time I've mentioned Greenland in one of these videos, honestly. One of the earliest fallen vertebrates to ever exist according to our current fossil record. One of the first with extra adaptations to weight bearing that allowed it better terrestrial locomotion. I promise they're all inside here. I put grass down so you can't see a bloody thing. Well, hello, buddy. There he is. Look at him. Cutie patootie. Where was I? So yeah, it was kind of transitioning onto land, and it's got sort of adaptations in its morphology that allow it to bear weight. Because of course, when you're swimming, the water bears the weight for you. If you're moving on the land, you need to bear that weight on your legs yourself. And Ichthyostega was one of the first animals to ever do that. It's very much a transitionary fossil between fish and terrestrial tetrapods. You know, when fish were starting to move onto the land, Ichthyostega is right up there as an early example. And then over here, we've got a completely clear glass exhibit, as you can see, for our Platyhystrix, which is actually a really interesting little creature because it's an amphibian, as you can see, but it's actually, I don't know if it's, yeah, it is an amphibian. It's an amphibian with a sail, which is really, really unusual. It's an amphibian from the late Carboniferous of the US, an amphibian with a sail, I say, highly unusual. These elongated neural spines have... As always, you know, whenever we talk about a Dilophosaurus or Dimetrodon or anything, we always talk about why these elongated spines exist. And there's always several theories, and they're usually the same rough theories. The big two are thermoregulation and sexual dimorphism, attracting a mate, you know, big sail, big flashy colours, look sexy. But Platyhystrix actually is adorable, but it actually has its own unique theory as well, because Platyhystrix, again, is very early, you know, late Carboniferous, animals were transitioning from water to land. Maybe it had this stiff neural sail, in order to, again, help it move terrestrially, to kind of harden the body almost for terrestrial movement, to make it more adept at moving around in this sort of terrestrial semi-aquatic environment. See what these all look like from above. Really, really, really fantastic stuff. And let's take a quick look at all of the individual creatures, just so you can see them in a little detail. There's yes. There's your Anthracosaurus, again our apex predator. As you can see, much larger than the other creatures in the pack. Would have dominated its time period largely. Over here we've got our Diplocaulis, really beautifully modelled, fits right into the game. Bizarre. I mean, the head shape with the boomerang's bizarre, but even this kind of flat, sticking out, almost Ankylosaurus plated body shape there at the back is very strange. That long tail as well. Really nice patterning as well, these kind of details. And then there's a little bit of splodging of colour there just behind the head. Very, very interesting. And rigged really well, considering its size and everything like that. It just sort of... I'm surprised it works as well as it does, considering the uniqueness of its body shape as it bounds around. Over here then we have our Ichthyostega. There you go, there's your Ichthyostega. Just look... Oh! I think it was loading into a social animation. And then finally over here, we have our beautiful Platyhystrix with its very unique... I was just hopping capture mode. With its very unique little... it's just a little dude. It's just a little dude. So unique, so unlike anything else in the game, even though we have other sailed creatures. Tiny little horns propped up there, kind of frog-esque or like giant toad-esque. Interesting sort of osteoderms down the side. And the social animations even work. Very, very cute. Clearly a fantastic mod. And you could, if you wanted, you could use this for other animals. You know, if we want to throw in, let me have a little look here. Let's go on our Piscivores. They're all a little bit big, but, you know, if you want to throw in a Baryonyx, if you want to throw in a Suchomimus or something and have that roaming around inside this habitat, you can absolutely do that. Except they may be a little bit large, but maybe other modded creatures, stuff like that, you could throw in there. Maybe you could throw a Dimetrodon in there, something like that. You can use these buildings for many, many things. Now, before we go, I will show you very quickly how exactly these work. So let's go to our decorations. And you're going to install this all as one pack. You can't pick and choose, you've got to install the whole lot. So we've got 5 different signs. We've got the educational stands for our various creatures, as you can see. And also we've got that Paleozoic this way sort of swamp sign as well. To make the buildings themselves, you want to come down here to the third tab. I'm going to go to the 3rd tab. And I have a lot of decorations installed, as you can see. But we're going to look for the correct ones, which are just up here. Very easy to see because they've got this lovely little symbol with them. And this is the order I would recommend doing this to make your life easy. You're going to grab the swamp habitat. So as you can see, this is laid out in glass. This is the equivalent of those outdoor ones we saw over there. Now you're going to want to put your path down now. It's much easier if you put the path down early rather than later. And you're just going to go and just kind of drag past the corners, go around in a, you can take your time and do it super neat if you're that way inclined. Like, this is already a bit of a disaster. But just go around like that and add your path, and then do your decorative elements. So let's say you want a little bit of water in there. You can even put this, in the water and then have your big wet paths if you're using the right mods for that. Throw some water in there. We've got another couple decorations. Let's just hop back into that same tab and scroll up. I've got too many mods installed. So we've got two for sort of the interior. We've got these swamp faux trees, like so. Throw those in. And then we've also got the swamp algae. Now the algae sits, at least in my experience, a little bit too high. So what you're going to want to do, plonk it down, and then you're going to want to use Kai's Wii Toolbox, which you should probably have installed anyway if you're messing around with mods. You're going to pick it up with N, click on it, and then hold B, and just drop it down, just so it sits just above the water. Oh, and then click the wrong button entirely. Okay, and once you're happy with the interior, you can also throw rocks in here or foliage. Anything you want in the entire game will sit perfectly in this. And this is already a ready-made exhibit, by the way. You don't need to add, maybe you want humans. You don't need to add walls to this yourself. You can just use the exhibit itself. There's no invisible fences going on here. Beautiful exhibit, full of park workers. And what we're going to do, we're going to scroll up. And we're going to grab the Paleozoic Swamp Habitat Roof, which is sort of that, well, it's the roof. And as you can see, you can actually line this up really easily because the two squares are both visible, and you can just kind of lean these over each other. Of course, you're going to want free build installed for this. Click there, and instantly you've got yourself your fully built interior habitat. As you can see, very, very cool. Now, if you want to add a little bit more detail to this, I'd also recommend add your info signs at this point. And then what you can do, you've got three types of walls. So you've got these long swamp backgrounds that you're seeing, and you want to line these up with these walls here. You might want to line them up better than I did. And then you've got two types of ones for these sort of corner pieces here as well. So you can use these ones, or you can use these ones over here. Just line those up. And, like I did with these other buildings, which are now miles away, like I did with the other buildings over here, you just go around the entire building, lining them up around the sides until you form an enclosed interior. We've also got our Anthracosaurus sign, throw that in there. And we've also got an entrance. So the entrance is nice and easy. You find a long bit. I love a long bit. Let's go over here. You just kind of line this up with that bit there. Like so. And you have your entrance, and you can then, throw a path coming out of that. And, easy peasy. Alright, so it's got some customizability there. You can have as much wall, as little wall as you want. You can put whatever you want inside. The only thing I would really like to see added to this mod is something that some of the other mod makers do. In that, it'd be nice to have like a completed building, neatly done, ready-made, kind of just able to be plonked down with like a gap for the entrance and exit. But other than that, I think it's incredible. It's one of my all-time favorite mods. It really is. I've done these walls abhorrently, but it's one of my all-time favorite mods. Yeah, if any time I build a park from now on, there's always going to be a little Paleozoic swamp section, and I will try to make some slightly stupid things as well. I'm not sure what they'll be yet, but there's something there. There's something there. You can even use these walls like in the rest of your park, and yeah, I don't know. World is your oyster, ladies and gentlemen. Go and make oysters out of it. Right, anyways, I will end it there. So cool. Ancient Amphibians bundle, link down below. Check it out for yourselves. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below as well. Throw me a like if you enjoyed the video, all that nonsense. And I will see you throughout this week for much more content. We will be taking a deeper look at the new DLC, of course, the free update. We'll be doing a park build. Hopefully I've got some ideas for something a little bit more my speed when it comes to a park build. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.
Bye.